Good morning. I'm here this morning with Peter Cirolia, owner of Ballet Muscle, and Dr. Janice Gelfand. We're gathered today to discuss their partnership in wellness on many levels. Peter, could you briefly introduce us to Dr. Gelfand and walk us through your professional relationship?
Sure. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
So Dr. Gelfand and I met about 7 years ago when Dr. Gelfand asked me to physically train her because she found out that I was a personal trainer and that I also was a professional ballet dancer. So I believe that she was intrigued, not only that I was a personal trainer, but that I danced ballet. And I think she was intrigued maybe that I understood muscle movement different than other personal trainers. So, so then I started training her, and then our relationship, our partnership grew from there. And the rest is history. It just continued to blossom, and we realized so many different things through me training her, but then our talks while we were training and our discussions. And over the years, like I said, because it was 7 years, we realized how much we could help people if we combined our talents.
Yes.
Dr. Gelfand in the medical field and mine with flexibility, muscle movement, the muscles, muscle movement, and flexibility and touching upon nutrition. So
Fantastic.
So that's pretty much how we met 7 years ago. Yeah, about 7 years ago.
Wonderful. And Dr. Gelfand, could you share with us your medical background, give us a brief synopsis of your career?
I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
I was a physician, internal medicine, practicing in the Bronx. And the Bronx population is unfortunately obese, diabetic, hypertensive, sedentary, with a terrible diet, no exercise. Mm-hmm. They're also a population that are very difficult to treat because they don't have any money.
Right.
They don't have any time. Their lives are extremely stressful. And there are study after study after study looking at trying to improve the lifestyle of patients like that with no success. Mm-hmm. And you'll have a brief time when they'll lose 5% of their body weight, exercise maybe a little, and then they go back to their old habits. So Peter and I talked a lot about my frustration with trying to improve the life of these patients. And the other thing, which is really important, is that because of their obesity, their diabetes, their hypertension, they all develop orthopedic problems. Mm. And so a lot of them also had back injuries, knee injuries, and the immediate reaction to that was for them to stop their activity. And that just made everything worse.
I can imagine. So together, you and Peter combined your talents, and maybe you could share with us a success story or two of some of your patients.
Peter and I talked a lot, and it's so apparent to me that he understands muscle, he understands bone. Mm-hmm. He was able to offer something beyond physical therapy, which most of my patients couldn't afford either because of the co-payments. So he had more knowledge to give them, to keep them active, to keep them moving, to build muscle, to improve their nutritional status. And so I referred to him several patients who he very nicely saw at a reduced rate, who I thought were motivated enough to benefit from this. And one woman in particular weighed 225 pounds, high blood pressure, cholesterol. She was not diabetic. She had a long history of depression and severe knee arthritis, and did not exercise at all. Mm-hmm. And she and Peter hit it off really well. She started going once or twice a week. Is it
twice a week?
Yeah. And was able to lose 85 pounds.
Wow.
Developed incredible muscle strength, walking, and actually it improved her depression significantly, I think, as well. So she did really, really well with Peter. And I had another patient actually who had severe back pain and was afraid to walk. Mm-hmm. She just was afraid. Wow. And I said, go to Peter. He knows what he's doing. He will not hurt you, I promise. And
we'll work together on.
We'll work together. Yeah. He'll tell me how you're doing. I'll supervise and make sure that nothing happens to you. And she was able to hike and walk and do all kinds of amazing things. Yeah. It was a beautiful story as well.
So exactly.
They did very, very well.
So it's life-changing what you two really were able to do together. I also understand that you personally train with Peter.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's how we started, because I've always exercised, but I I tend to overdo on my own. And I ran, I got knee injury. I biked, I got groin injury. I swam, I got a shoulder injury. And it was one thing after another. And Peter said, no, do it my way. So we had a program of exercise, which included muscle strength, which included flexibility and stretching. It included cardio, things that I didn't necessarily want to do, which Peter said, no, you can do them. They're fine, like plyometrics and jumping. And he's kept me basically injury-free for 8 years, exercising. My weight is down. I'm healthy. I'm able to take exercise classes with much younger people and keep up very well. And
you're much stronger than some of them.
And I also understand that Peter incorporates the basics of ballet.
Which is not only really good for your muscles, so your muscles are longer and stronger. It's great for back pain because your posture is so much better that you're expanding the spaces in between your vertebrae all the time. But it's fun. Yes. It's fun. It makes you feel like you can dance a little, which is nice.
And what do you think differentiates Peter from other trainers? I'm sure we, at our age we've probably dealt with other trainers. What makes Peter so unique?
So I think the major thing, and I haven't said this to you before, but I think he's smarter, honestly, than a lot of other trainers. So it's not just that he's smarter, but he's used that intelligence to find out about muscle groups and how they work, and bones and how they work, and he's always considering how your particular muscles work. So if I say to him, no, I can't do that, that hurts, he always finds another way to work that same muscle group without hurting me. And it's the knowledge that he accumulates and his intellectual curiosity. We've gone to actually a medical
thoroughly enjoyed conference
together where I got continuing medical education credits and he didn't.
I got experience.
He got experience.
Yeah.
And then you can share that with your clients.
And then he shares that with the clients.
Yeah.
And how do you work with nutrition? Either one of you or both of you could answer this. Because nutrition is such a huge part.
I'm not a nutrition specialist, and that's not my, but again, all the experience that Dr. Gelfand is talking about that I could help everyone with, I really learned from being a professional ballet dancer as a young boy from 8 years old, learning from all the grandest dancers in the world and them taking care of me and with nutrition and my lifestyle being a professional athlete. I took all these teachings that I've learned from them and now apply them with everyone else. I mean, so back to nutrition, I know what works, and I have a good surface, a very deep surface understanding of nutrition, basic nutrition, and that's what I help everyone with. If it's anything diving deeper, I'll talk to Dr. Gelfand about, and we'll discuss for particular, doses of potassium or stuff like that. But in terms of the surface, I give everyone a general balanced plan, and I overlook their nutrition plan and just help them balance and moderation, in their
I think it's almost not what you say to them about what to eat, but the fact that you're overlooking the nutrition plan.
The calorie amount.
Extremely helpful.
Yes, it serves as a guideline and almost like a watchdog.
And the other thing is that the nutrition guidelines are changing so rapidly. Every day you read about something different, but we talk about it. I say I saw in the paper today, I saw in the journal today.
Then we find out, we discuss what we think. Because so many different studies, as you said, are always coming out, but we have to say, okay, let's find a middle ground here that we think is the proper amount. And then you have to take the particular individual also. We take the particular individual we're talking about, patient, client we're talking about, into account. And we say, well, they studied this, but it may not be right for everybody.
It's not a cookie cutter approach.
Right, exactly.
Which I think also leads again to why he's so good at what he does, which is he's individualizing. It's never the same for person to person, and it's never the same from session to session. Right. Just when you think that you've accomplished something, there's something new and interesting and exciting and different.
So what classes, Janice, do you take at Peter's studio? What other classes are offered besides the personal training?
I feel like I've moved in, but so I take ballet with him twice a week. It's an hour-and-a-half class. We do an hour of bar and half an hour of center, which is very difficult for some of us.
It's an adult professional ballet class.
He's strict. He's serious. He wants us to do it the right way and keeps on us until we do it the right way, which is the way to train your muscles. So that works. I also take an abdominal class once a week for 1 hour. It's a very, very hard class. But it strengthens your abdominals, which is very important for strengthening your back. Once you strengthen the front, the back goes along with that.
Yes.
And then sometimes I take his tone and burning class, which is on Thursday morning, which is fun. It's a dance class and it's aerobic with some weights.
Sounds great. Now, Peter, how can someone find you on the internet? Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah, sure. So I have everything. The name of my company is Ballet Muscle. So if you Google Ballet Muscle, www.balletmuscle.com, I have a YouTube page. So if you go to Ballet, you go to a YouTube. It's a YouTube channel. So you have to go to YouTube, then you go to channels, and then you type in Ballet Muscle. And then also I have a Facebook page. Ballet. So everything's under Ballet Muscle. So and if you can't find it under, you put Ballet Muscle Peter Cirolia, my full name. If you have trouble finding, but I have Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. So yeah. So,
well, I've really enjoyed talking with the two of you today. Are there any last thoughts you'd like to share?
I'd just like to, something that I would just like to mention about our patient-client relationship.
Please. 2
facts I'd like to hit on because I think the public, I think it's really golden, is that I've been thinking a lot about what makes our relationship so well and beneficial to all these patients is that, number one, because I'm a personal trainer, I'm personal training these Dr. Gelfand's patients, I spend, like we said with one of the patients, 2 hours to 3 hours, maybe some more, a week with them, as a personal trainer. When a patient's visiting a doctor, they spend 5 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, with the doctor. I'm getting to learn these whole patient's lifestyle, what makes them tick, their metabolism, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, how they move, how they float. When you go into a doctor's office, you sit in a chair, and the doctor doesn't get to see how you interact, how you move. I'm spending 3 hours versus 10 minutes with them. So that's a huge importance when I share with Dr. Gelfand. Well, listen, I would like to share this person, this person's personality with you, and that can help you better understand them. So that's number one. Number two is a doctor, and Dr. Gelfand can help a patient from the medical side, medication, and maybe not from the medical field. But when we partner, it's full circle because I help them with nutrition and muscle flexibility and strengthen their muscles. And the medical field. So it's full circle. They're getting, and I think that's very important because they're getting everything. They're not just when you sit in a doctor's office, a doctor thinks, they're listening to you for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and they think, but they may be missing. I'm spending so much time with them, it's almost as if I'm living with them for a little period of time. So when I share that with Dr. She may say, oh, well then let's try this, let's try that, So it's more, you're getting so much, by having this partnership, you're really learning that much more about the patient. I don't know if you agree, so that's a huge importance.
I agree. The times that you've come to me and said, so-and-so is doing this, did you know this?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right, maybe I need to evaluate
this. Change and do something different.
So I just wanted to mention that this relationship
so
is
it's
so
a full integrative approach.
Right, it's full integrated, and it's so important moving ahead in the future for, I believe, physicians and personal trainers, muscle specialists, movement specialists to partner to take better care of a patient, a patient.
I think it's also important at this juncture to just add that it's not physical therapy that Peter is doing.
No.
Physical therapy is a short-term, very directed, time-limited approach, which doesn't consider the whole patient at all. It just considers the knee, the back, or whatever.
Range of motion, just getting range of motion.
Just getting some range of motion back. So this is a completely different issue from physical therapy. And even if you're going to physical therapy for a problem, that doesn't mean that you wouldn't benefit tremendously from Peter's approach.
So this is full body wellness, almost cutting off. You're cutting off injuries at the past. And also I understand that you should continue to work out with an injury. You're able to help.
So important. From a safe muscle specialist and advising you, because the worst thing you can do when you have an injury is to be sedentary, not to do anything.
Which is
you want to do what's safe, but everybody thinks lock up, don't move. Right. No, you want to be moving, but the correct, safe way, and you need someone to teach you the safe way to keep moving, because the only way you're going to heal your muscles or your injury is by getting new blood flow, new nutrients. Blood carries all your nutrients to those areas. So it's extremely important to keep moving safely.
This has been very educational. Peter, just tell us one more time where we can find you, where you're located.
Ballet Muscle is my company name. So Facebook, you could do Ballet Muscle on Facebook. You could go to my YouTube channel, Ballet Muscle. I have exercises up there, ballet-based exercises. as well as you go to www.balletmuscle.com and you'll see my website, and I have...
And your address.
And you're based in New Rochelle?
I'm based in New Rochelle at the moment, 10 South Division Street in New Rochelle. So you
Perfect.
could just email me, and I'll be glad to email you back and call you, and
Perfect.
So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
This
you.
has been a lot of
Dr.
fun.
Gelfand.